Hello everybody and welcome to another vintage versus classified video comparison. And as you can see, by the title, thumbnail, and just the start of this video, we're gonna take a close look at the H.I.S.S tank driver and the H.I.S.S tank vehicle itself. I'm not gonna get too much into detail with the H.I.S.S tank. Simply point out, similarities and differences, because this is a comparison video. Same with the H.I.S.S tank driver and, the rest of the crew that came with the haslab, which I won't get into detail with these. If you want to see, differences between, the regular H.I.S.S driver and them, I have a whole video comparing the three of them in a review for the haslab. So with that being said, just to quickly get these out of the way, this is essentially, the design of the H.I.S.S driver, but, with female proportions and whatnot. So nothing too crazy or, new there, just a new design for a H.I.S.S gunner that we got for the classified line. And then we do have the H.I.S.S technician. Again, it's the same body mold and same body parts as the driver, just a different paint scheme, and that's about all you get with this guy. So again, differences in the haslab review. But with that being said, let's take a close look at the vintage and classified versions of the H.I.S.S driver. This H.I.S.S tank is from the more recent, 20th, or, there were Walmart vintage exclusive figures, so that's why it came with a more updated, figure. But I believe the tank still uses the same mold and whatnot from the actual original H.I.S.S tank that came out back in the 80s. So same mold, so it should be fine. I will do my research before, correcting myself, after editing and whatnot, but I believe it's the same mold and whatnot, so nothing too new was changed with this, maybe other than a few details here and there, but this for sure is an updated figure. So with that being said, this is not the vintage counterpart, and this one is, so we're gonna set him aside as well. And with that being said, let's take a close look at our vintage and classified H.I.S.S drivers first, and we'll start down here at the feet as we usually do, and we're gonna do a little bit of a zoom. First and foremost, almost taking down my camera. It's a little dusty, sorry about that. But first and foremost, we start with the feet, and we can see the classified already has a few differences with these two sort of indentations here in the armor and up here. But for the most part, it still keeps the same aesthetic, segmented parts there in the armor all the way down here. This looks more like padding, but it also works as just extra armor here in the classified, and then more padding or armor here at the bottom of the feet or the boots, which we also see here with the classified version. And it came out great. The boots or armor does come up to his thigh, so they did that here with the classified. No holster or pistol molded on this guy, so it is nice that they included a holster and a pistol that is removable with the classified version. And we move up to the belt, and for the most part we can see that they are very similar. You have a circle sort of buckle here at the front. We have 4 pouches here at the front. We get 1, 2, 3, 4 pouches there, and then it is beautifully painted all the way around, not with our vintage counterpart. And then we have the back again, painted straps, sculpted straps, because this whole piece is a separate piece on top of the body. And here with the vintage one, we don't really get that, or at least it's hard to see, you know, little details going around. But yeah, it's not really noticeable, and he's, you know, splitting in half. But it's not really noticeable that this is, you know, an overlay piece. It's just sort of, you know, that's his bodysuit and whatnot. So, you know, kind of hard to tell, but the Classified does a good job of separating that. And then we have their chest armor. Again, Classified. It is new, so very lovely Cobra logo there with the blue and the black going around the edges. And then some more black up here in the armor, looking very nice. We only get the blue and the Cobra logo here, which mine is in okay shape. Not the perfect, but it's okay. There's some blue spilling on the edge there, but we don't get any of the black, which is a bit unfortunate. And then we do have, you know, kind of a different tone in red. You know, obviously different plastic materials used, obviously. So there's going to be a little bit of a, you know, color difference, especially over the ears. But you get two gauntlets here with the vintage counterpart, and not much real crazy detail going on with those gauntlets other than a few, you know, kind of bumps or stubs there. With the Classified, we get not knee pads, elbow pads sculpted on. We get some black here at the gloves, which we don't have with the vintage. And then they expanded on the gauntlets, you know, giving them this sort of device here. And then this one they kept kind of normal and true to the vintage one. And up here at the helmet, for the most part, they are the same design. There's a few indentations here with this helmet. Nothing on this one, but you still have the black mouthpiece, the silver visor there, and this sort of ridge here going over the helmet, looking very lovely. And yeah, that is the H.I.S.S driver. Very similar approach from the Classified version, updating a few things, adding some extra paint and whatnot, some black paint here and there, just to, you know, give it a bit more color and, you know, break up a lot of the red that the vintage one had. So, you know, I love what they did with the Classified, and the vintage still holds up in its own way. You know, pretty iconic design for the H.I.S.S driver. But with that being said, let's move on to the biggest and probably more complicated thing to film, are the tanks. So the tanks, I'll probably try and just do it this way and just compare from here to the Classified version. Obviously with the Classified, we're gonna get a lot of updates and whatnot. We have a turret up here at the front. We have a little, you know, step ladder that goes up and down. We have some rockets here that can twist and come in and out. We have two turrets up here that are also movable, you know, the hinge and swivel. You have your turrets up here, or your cannons, and then you do have a shield here which is removable, which I will remove simply because it does have a Cobra logo and the light is very shiny on it. But it does have a Cobra logo, which is accurate to the vintage H.I.S.S tank, and there's a bunch of dust on this thing. But getting into, you know, details and whatnot, this one's also dusty. We have our 788 logo here at the front, which we also get here with our vintage counterpart. We have this little decal here, which is replicated here as well, or replicated on the Classified, vintage to Classified. We have our little 363 number there. We have a Cobra logo here, which we also get on the Classified. The H.I.S.S is also present here, and then this V is also present on the classified. Now, something you'll notice, the plates on the classified are updated. I have mine configured to the more, updated look, but you can put these on to make it resemble more the vintage treads or tread plating cover armor that you see here. But this one also has the little V and then little numbers and whatnot, and the new modern updated look also has that, and you get both plates obviously for both sides. We will put those aside. Taking a look at the cannons, like I said, the classified one does have a Cobra logo, and this one also has a Cobra logo there. As you can see, not a lot of detail with this. Obviously, the classified one has a ton of detail. Again, you can see my review on that in its own video. I'm just gonna cover, the more important features in the outside and whatnot. But the vintage one had the double cannon as well, and they are both joined together, whereas the classified, it has separate ratcheted cannons, so one can be pointing down, the other one can be pointing up, whichever one you want. They both rotate, obviously, and that's very fun. You have a little decal there. There's obviously a lot of details and whatnot with the classified version. And then here at the front, if we can get it in view, we have our lights, which, classified, it lights up. You have a bunch of light features with this. With the vintage one, not really, but you do get a little sticker there to resemble those headlights. And here at the bottom, you can see the similarities there. This one rolls with, these little wheels here. The ones for the classified are actual treads, and they do roll and move. You get that sticker here with the vintage. You see it there on the classified as well. And basically, the other side of this should be the same applications in terms of decals and whatnot. And it's the same for the vintage. It's the same decals and whatnot. The canopy for the classified is also updated, and you get two separate sort of windows here, which can open to the side to reveal the driver in there. So that's very fun to have. And yes, I do have that one installed. But if you really want to go full vintage mode, you also have a canopy for that. Also, mine's all dusty and whatnot. But you also get the option to get the clear canopy instead of the new modern one. You can remove these as well to really go more vintage, just to not have them there in the way. You can also remove your turrets here and go even more vintage, but that is up to you and how you prefer your H.I.S.S tank. I want to embrace the new, so I have all the attachments on this thing. I think that's on there correctly. And then you get to the back, you get some more headlights, you get some handrails here. You don't get any pegs here at the bottom, unfortunately. And then you do get a hinge here to tow some accessory that we'll get later in the future for classified. But looking at the back here, let's see if I can move it. Cobra logo, no opening door on the vintage. You get that with the classified. Like I said, no pegs here for the feet, but you do get those on the vintage one. And you also get that hinge here that you can use to tow other accessories and whatnot. No headlights on this one and no handrails on it either. But yeah, I think for the most part, those are the major differences that you'll get between the H.I.S.S tanks of the vehicles themselves. You do get an added sort of armor piece with the classified here that I showed removing. So, that's just a little bit of extra protection for your gunner. All right, so that basically does it between the H.I.S.S tank vehicles themselves and the drivers, the figures themselves. Those are the differences and similarities that you get with both of them. I think the classified obviously did a tremendous job with the H.I.S.S tank, especially getting these, treads to move, all at once with the rubber, treads there. I love the updated, armament that they have, the rockets, the turrets on the cannon, and then the canopy, and simple things like the ladder just to make it a very fun experience. But the vintage, still holds up, and it's unique, and it's simple, and it just looks amazing. And I think it's cool just seeing the two of them here side by side, and just how much larger that classified version is. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I can't get everything in one shot, but that will do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the future video.